Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful day. I'm really excited about today's show because we have something truly inspiring lined up. But before we dive into our topic, let's talk about something I think many of us experience. This morning, I had one of those moments where I struggled to find my left shoe. You know, it just vanished into thin air, or so it seemed.
Haha, oh yes, I think we've all been there. I have a theory that shoes have their own secret world where they hide. It always seems to be the left one too, doesn't it? It's like a little morning scavenger hunt before the day even begins.
Exactly. And then when you finally find it, it's in the most unexpected place. But these small morning challenges remind me of how important it is to start the day on a positive note. Speaking of positivity, today's topic is all about drawing inspiration from the anecdotes of great figures throughout history. I find it fascinating how their stories can teach us so much.
Absolutely. The lives of those who've come before us are like treasure troves of wisdom. They've walked paths filled with triumphs and failures that are immensely relatable, even though they might have lived centuries ago. Understanding their stories can provide us with valuable insights, and more importantly, remind us that we're not alone in our struggles.
That's so true. And to help us delve deeper into this topic, we have an expert with us who has dedicated much of his career to studying these figures and extracting lessons from their lives. He's a historian and motivational speaker who has given talks around the world sharing these incredible stories and the wisdom they hold.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm thrilled to be here and share some of these incredible tales. I believe that by examining the lives of great figures, we can find guidance and motivation to tackle our own challenges. It's like having a conversation across time, learning directly from those who have shaped the world in profound ways.
Wonderful. So let's dive right into our discussion. To start, could you tell us why this topic is so important and what makes these anecdotes so valuable?
Certainly, understanding the stories of great figures is important because it allows us to learn from their experiences without having to live through the same trials. It's like being given a roadmap to success and failure alike. Historically, storytelling has been a crucial way to pass down knowledge and values, and these anecdotes serve as powerful lessons in resilience, innovation, and leadership.
That makes a lot of sense. I imagine there are also some recent trends in how people are engaging with these stories.
Yes, definitely. In recent years, there's been a resurgence of interest in biographies and documentaries. People are seeking authentic stories that inspire and educate. The digital age has made these stories more accessible, allowing people to connect with historical figures in a personal way. This connection is often supported by research that shows how stories help us retain information better and feel more empathetically connected to the characters involved.
That's fascinating. Do you have any statistics or research findings that show the impact of these stories?
Absolutely. Studies have shown that people who engage with historical anecdotes often report higher levels of motivation and a greater sense of purpose. For example, a recent survey found that 78% of individuals who regularly read biographies felt more equipped to handle personal challenges. This isn't just about learning history. It's about applying those lessons in our day-to-day lives.
Wow, those are impressive numbers. It really highlights the real-life connection and relevance of these stories. Now, could you share some real experiences or cases that illustrate these points?
Of course, let me start with a personal experience. When I first began my career, I faced a significant setback. I remember reading about Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That perspective shifted how I viewed failure, and it motivated me to persist. Another inspiring story is that of Nelson Mandela. His resilience during 27 years of imprisonment is a testament to the power of perseverance and hope. His story teaches us that even in the darkest times, we can find light.
Those are powerful examples. It's amazing how such stories can change our perspective on failure and resilience. Are there any cases where things didn't go as planned, and what lessons can be learned from those?
Certainly. One notable example is the life of Nikola Tesla. Despite his genius, he faced numerous financial and professional setbacks. Yet, his dedication to innovation never wavered. From Tesla, we learn that success isn't always about immediate recognition or financial gain, but about staying true to one's vision. Another is Amelia Earhart, whose disappearance remains a mystery. Her courage and pioneering spirit, however, continue to inspire generations to pursue their passions fearlessly, even when the outcome is uncertain.
These stories really put things into perspective. It's comforting to know that even great figures faced failures. Now, for our listeners who are eager to implement these lessons in their lives, could you provide some specific tips or methodologies?
Definitely. Implementing these lessons can start with a few actionable steps. First, immerse yourself in biographies or documentaries about figures you admire. This will give you a foundation of inspiration. Second, identify one quality or lesson you want to emulate. Third, set a small achievable goal related to this lesson. Fourth, create a plan or routine to incorporate this goal into your daily life. Lastly, regularly reflect on your progress and adjust as needed. It's important to remember that these steps are iterative, and being flexible is key.
Those are great steps. It's really about integrating these lessons into our lives in a practical way. Are there any precautions or checkpoints our listeners should be aware of?
Yes, it's essential to remember that while these stories are inspiring, they're not one-size-fits-all solutions. Be mindful of your own context and adapt the lessons to fit your circumstances. Also, ensure that the figures you look up to align with your values. And of course, remain critical and curious. Don't take everything at face value. Lastly, use tools and resources like journals or apps to track your progress and keep motivated.
That sounds like a solid approach. Now, let's talk about common misconceptions people might have when they look at the lives of great figures.
Sure. One common misconception is that success came easily to these figures. In reality, most face significant obstacles and failures before achieving their goals. Another is the belief that they were lone geniuses. Many had teams and networks of support that contributed to their success. Lastly, people often think these figures were perfect, but they were human, with flaws and mistakes. Understanding these truths helps us appreciate their stories even more deeply.
Those are some eye-opening truths. It really underscores the complexity of these individuals' lives. Do you have any scientific evidence or expert opinions that support these insights?
Absolutely. Research in psychology highlights the hero narrative, where we tend to idealize historical figures. However, studies show that recognizing their flaws alongside their achievements provides a more balanced and motivating perspective. Experts agree that this realistic view helps us relate to them and learn more effectively from their lives.
I love that idea of a balanced perspective. So for listeners who are inspired and ready to take action, what are some suggestions you can offer them?
To start today, choose one anecdote or story that resonates with you and spend some time reflecting on it. For a short-term goal over the next week, try to implement one small change inspired by that story. Midterm, in about a month, review your progress and perhaps share your journey with someone else. Long-term, aim to cultivate a habit or mindset that reflects the values of the figures you admire. For maintenance, regularly revisit these stories and celebrate your progress.
These actionable steps make it clear that anyone can start applying these lessons right away. Before we wrap up, could you summarize the key points we discussed today?
Certainly. First, the importance of stories from great figures lies in their ability to teach us resilience, innovation, and leadership. Second, real experiences, both successes and failures, offer valuable lessons that we can apply in our lives. Third, implementing these lessons involves practical steps and a mindset of continuous learning. Fourth, understanding the misconceptions allows us to relate more authentically to these figures. Finally, setting actionable goals and regularly reflecting on them can lead to personal growth and inspiration.
Thank you for those insights. We also have some hypothetical questions from our listeners. The first question is, how do I choose which historical figure to learn from?
Great question. Start by identifying what qualities or achievements you admire and want to emulate. Consider what resonates with you personally and professionally. Once you have an idea, explore figures who exemplify those traits. Also, don't limit yourself to one person. Diversity in experiences can enrich your learning.
Excellent advice. Our second question is, what if I don't feel a connection with any historical figures?
That's quite common. In such cases, try looking for contemporary figures or role models in your own life. Sometimes the people around us can offer profound lessons. Alternatively, explore different eras or cultures to find stories that might resonate more deeply with your personal experiences.
That's a reassuring perspective. Lastly, how can I stay motivated when the lessons seem overwhelming?
Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. Take small steps and don't hesitate to revisit stories or adjust your approach. Engage with communities or forums where you can share experiences and draw encouragement. And most importantly, be kind to yourself during the process.
Those are truly helpful responses. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing such enriching insights.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me and for this wonderful conversation. I hope our listeners feel inspired to explore the stories that speak to them and apply those lessons in their lives.
We've certainly learned a lot today. And to our listeners, we hope you feel empowered to take the lessons from these great figures and apply them to your own journey. Remember, every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. Until next time, take care and stay inspired.